Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is in response to the question regarding the sunnah way of praying while sitting down or laying down. Just to contextualize the issue, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that pray standing. صلي قائما فإن لم تستطع فقاعدا. If you can't pray standing, then pray sitting on the ground, meaning with prostration. فإن لم تستطع فعلى جنب. And if you cannot pray sitting down, then lie on your side. So if you can't pray sitting down, then lie on your side. And this is related by Nasa'i and others. And from this and related hadiths, the ulama mention those principles. That the basis is that if you're able to, without undue hardship, you pray standing up. If you can't do that, then you pray sitting on the ground with prostration. If you cannot do that, then if you can pray, then you pray with head movements. Right? Then you pray with head movements. And how you pray with head movements depends on facilitation, right? In that if you're able to sit down without hardship and face the qibla, you do so. If you can't sit down and face the qibla, then if you can lie down and face the qibla without hardship, then you do so. Right? Whether on one side, for example. If you can't lie down on your side facing the qibla, unassisted, then you just pray lying down. If you can prop your head up a little bit, then that's better. So at least the head's towards the direction of the qibla, then that's good. If you can't face the qibla on your own, then that responsibility is lifted. If someone is able to help you face the qibla, then you can ask them. But if that would be difficult for others, or be awkward, or would delay the prayer, then there's no expectation that you do so. Now, how do you pray with head movements? Well, just a thing before that is that if one is able to sit on the ground and prostrate without hardship or difficulty or pain, etc., then one does so. And that's a step that people often forget. Then, let's say you're not able to pray sitting on the ground, because the benefit of doing so is that you can actually prostrate on the ground. If you can't do that, then you pray with head movements. Praying with head movements is quite straightforward. Right? You bend your head slightly for ruku', and you bend your head slightly deeper with sujood, with prostration. Right? And this is established from our beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a number of hadiths, right? That whoever of you can prostrate, let them do so. Right? And that's what people often forget. Whoever of you is able to prostrate must do so, meaning placing your forehead on the ground. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَلَا يَرْفَعْ إِلَى وَجْهِهِ شَيْئًا يَسْجُدْ عَلَيْهِ لَكِنْ فِي رُكُوعِهِ وَسُجُودِهِ يُومِئْ بِرَأْسِهِ. So if you can't pray with prostration, then don't put something up to prostrate against, like don't put up a pillow or anything. If you did so, it would be makruh. It would not invalidate the thing. The Prophet ﷺ said, rather, for your ruku' and your sujood, for your bowing and prostration, you should bend your head. This is called ima'. So you bend your head slightly for ruku' and slightly deeper for sujood. And how much you bend, there's no expectation of a deep bending. You bend the extent you're comfortable, right? A slight bending for ruku' and a slightly deeper for sujood. And that's all there is to it. And so if you can sit and pray with head movements, that's superior. If not, then on your side or your back. Praying on one side is superior, so that because on your side more of you is facing the qibla. If you can avoid making your feet, if you're lying down, if you can make your feet avoid, not face the qibla, that is superior. If you can raise the feet slightly without hardship, that's better. But in these, the basic principle is that لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, that Allah does not make one responsible for more than one is able. Right? It's come in a narration that if you can't, then pray on your side. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you can't pray sitting, pray on your side, for Allah does not make one responsible for more than one is able. And the hadith that we mentioned first, that pray standing if you can't, then pray sitting on the ground. If you can't, then pray with head movements. That hadith actually is related by Bukhari, Muslim, and Nasa'i. Right? This final narration that we mentioned was mentioned by Nasa'i. So it's very straightforward. If you can sit up, to the extent possible, do so. If you can't, then just pray lying down. Bend your head slightly for ruku', bend your head slightly more for sujood. And as a point of benefit, inshallah, if it's difficult to make wudu on your own, unassisted, then you can make tayammum. You can perform the dry ablution. The dry ablution, tayammum, can be performed with a stone. Right? It does, even small. Right? No dust is required. In the Hanafi school, you rub the stone once and wipe your face to the extent that you can, and you rub it again and wipe both arms up to and including the elbow, and that would be sufficient. And that's if there's hardship or difficulty, undue hardship or difficulty in making wudu. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grant you shifa and afiyah, health, healing and well-being, and that this be a means of raf'a darajat, of raising in rank. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you a manifestation of true patience. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Allah is with the patient. Ask Allah that He make this a means of you being of those whom He loves, because the Prophet ﷺ told us that إِذَا أَحَبَّ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا ابْتَلَاهُ, that if Allah loves a servant, they send them tests, right? And those tests are means of Allah honoring the servant. May this be a test of honor, enveloped with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah, His mercy, His lutf, His gentle care, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you complete recovery. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.